Are you someone who locks their door when they step out of their house or make sure their computer is locked when they walk away from it? You may be doing cyber advocacy and you probably don't even realize it. If you are someone like that and probably from a cybersecurity background or even from a development background who wants to be security first mind, then you probably want to know about cyber advocacy. Before you skip over this video and go,
I don't even care about cyber advocacy because it's boilerplate.
Let me just remind you, if you are a developer or if you are someone who works in the cloud space or in a tech product space, you probably do something which is security related. If you walk out of your door, depending on what country you live in, I'm pretty sure you would check if your door is locked or not. Now, that is security 101. May not be cybersecurity, but if you bring that back to your office or the professional work you do, we do the exact same thing. When you're in the office, you're asked to close the door behind you so say an intruder cannot walk in. You're asked to lock your computers when you walk away from your computer so no one can basically snoop around what you were doing, which is sensitive. So cyber advocacy has always been there, but it's never been really spoken about. And my hope is through this video, I can convince you that cyber advocacy is required and is a force to be reckoned with. I may be the first one doing cyber advocacy in the world, but there are a lot more people who are doing this without a title. So I'm going to demystify cyber advocacy in this video. I am putting a flag on the ground, same way Neil Armstrong did when he stepped foot on the moon. I am putting a flag on the ground to say, yes, there are cloud security advocates. To give a more sense for what cyber advocacy is, I'll give a specific example. Let's talk about cyber advocacy in the context of cloud security. Now, there are other fields in cybersecurity as well, like there's governance, there's security operations, there is assurance with pen testing and everything else that goes around. I'm not going to focus on any of those because those at the moment are not ready for this, but cloud security is definitely primed to be the first one in this. Now, there is one word that probably gives you the answer for why this is the case. DevSecOps. People who may be coming from DevSecOps, how is that related to cloud security? Let me explain. When DevOps started, going back when it started, DevOps basically meant you were trying to combine developers and operations together so you were able to develop code faster, release multiple times in production so everyone could access in most favorite Netflix TV series in a matter of a few seconds and maybe the day you release it as well. This is kind of like the future that was promised by DevOps. It worked really well. It was initially people like, what is this really? And they kind of have a head around what needs to be DevOps. It's all about automation. It's all about making sure you're putting code out there. Then came DevSecOps. Basically what happened with the speed at which DevOps was going, people kind of tend to forget security.
I keep having this nagging feeling that I've forgotten something.
Hey, if you forgot it, it probably wasn't all that important.
Yeah, I guess.
So we started talking about DevSecOps, which is, hey, we should integrate security into DevOps as well. And one of the reasons for you to do this would be, I want to include cybersecurity into the CI/CD pipeline, the software development lifecycle, and any other place where it's easier adoption for developers to start doing security instead of us being a blocker. That was great. Now we've been talking about DevSecOps for over 5 years again. Now, this is where the developer advocacy space came in, because what happened was there were a lot of developers who loved security, who were okay to go out and talk in public talks, happy to create communities and tell them about how they can best use the open source tool that they have created, advocate that across. Keyword being advocate. That led to this thing or a role called developer advocates. Now, developer advocates have primarily become part of every cybersecurity company that is trying to be a product-led growth. Like, for example, Sneak is probably the most common example that you see of a company which has been doing developer advocate role for a while. You may think that that is great, but what has that to do with cyber advocacy? So bringing back to cloud security, if you are a developer who probably works in a small startup or you're in an organization where you're primarily working in cloud, day to day, you are creating infrastructure for your application. You are making decisions for your software development lifecycle. The DevSecOps part usually took care of the application security or product security, but the infrastructure security side or the cloud posture side, there's a lot more to cloud security and the security of the entire product than just doing the software development lifecycle. This is where cybersecurity advocacy can come in, because let's just be honest, you would not want a developer to be an ISO 27001 expert or a SOC 2 expert, which is governance, or you want them to be an expert in resolving incident response, because that's technically security operations and incident response team. That is way out of the pay scale for a developer. However, providing tools that make it easy for them to do cloud security in a world where doing infrastructure, like for example, a lot of people have Cloud Center of Excellence, which has security integrated in it. And there are a lot of companies that are already building products which have security integrated in a way that you can build platforms for your application on different cloud providers, whether it's Amazon, Microsoft, Google, or IBM, Oracle, whichever cloud you want to go for. There are people who are creating companies that help make this in a way that it's seamless from security perspective. So that is why there is a need for cybersecurity advocacy, because the next time there's an incident and your cloud service provider is saying, hey, shared responsibility, you should have been mindful of this. It is not our fault that you left your S3 bucket on your Amazon account open on the internet. Things like that are basically education pieces that you could be given. Now, because cloud service providers haven't really done their job properly in this context, I feel cybersecurity professionals like you, me, and everyone else who has the soft skill set and the technical skill set to talk about cloud security from a technical perspective, go deep down the weeds, not just talk about from a perspective that, hey, this is how cloud security tools can form a relationship in an organization and help developers, but also go down the weeds of explaining how they can develop and deploy certain solutions to make it a lot more easier for people to start doing cybersecurity in a cloud security context as well. I believe I'm the first one to do cloud security advocacy, but I'm sure there's a lot more, but at least I think I'm gonna give myself a title of cloud security advocate from this point onwards, but I definitely feel there's a need for a lot more. So if you are someone who thinks that you are probably doing cloud security advocacy and kind of like our community contributors on Cloud Security Podcast, I would love to hear from you. Leave a comment below if you believe you are a cloud security advocate, or if you want me to do more videos on cloud security advocacy, because you probably are already doing it, you just don't have a title for it. And I want to bless the opportunity for you to call yourself a cloud security advocate. So hopefully this inspires you to become a cloud security advocate as well for people who are uninitiated. If you like content like this and a lot more about cloud security and cloud security advocacy in general on how you can become one, definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on LinkedIn. Otherwise, drop a comment below for your cloud security question. My team and I will try our best to answer it for you. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.